Hi, welcome back to the channel. Gundog Working Tests. What are they? What do all of them different terms mean? What class can you enter? How does it all work? Back. Today I want to explain some of that to you. Doesn't really mean you don't need to really read the rule book, because you probably do, but it's just to give you a little bit of an idea so that when you're starting out you've maybe got a clue what it means, what it doesn't mean. Back. Gundog Working Tests are usually run by breed clubs. They are often online, so you can enter online. Sometimes you hear about them on social media, Facebook, etc. Occasionally you do have to make your entry with old style handwritten forms and sending them in through the post. Once you've made your entry, having decided which class you're going to run in, depending on the age and experience of your dog, you will receive some kind of email back, usually saying whether or not you've been successful. So having been told that you have a run, you're going to go on the date and meet time, making sure that you get there in good time with your dog, and any equipment that you might need. They may already provide numbers, or you might have to provide your own. That occasionally does happen. So having arrived at your test, you've exercised your dog, made sure that he's been toileted so he's not too bouncy. You then are going to present yourself according to the instructions given on the day. Before the start of the test, usually people are gathered round and given any instructions. They're introduced to the judges and stewards so that you're clear who is running the test and who you need to follow. If there's any special instructions for the day, sometimes there are boards put up where you can see where things are in the ground, because there will be usually some walking involved to get between the different tests. So normally there's a water test, there'll be 2 retrieves, and there'll be hunting, and those 4 elements make up your Gundog Working Test. They do a scoring system, so apart from the hunting, the scoring is out of 20. So for each test you'll be scored out of a maximum score of 20 if your dog absolutely does nothing wrong according to what the judge has seen. Your hunting is out of 40, so it's a larger number for the judge to be able to vary the marks according to the level of skill that the dog has shown in hunting the area that he was asked to, given the conditions. Usually the tests are done in number order, so your run number, so say you were number 8, will be the number that you run on the day. So when you present, for example, to your first retrieve, you will follow number 7, and then number 9 will go after you. So everybody goes in that numerical order, and that way the test day runs with some structure to it. So one of the terms that you might have heard of is a dummy. Dummies come in all different shapes and sizes and colours. Generally speaking, the ones that you're going to find at working Gundog tests are just going to be green. There might be the lighter green, there might be the darker green, but most likely they're just going to be green. The most straightforward test you're going to be asked to do is a scene retrieve. So here we've got Kevin being taken off of the lead, and the dummy is being thrown, which he's seen, so that's why it's called a scene. Here I've thrown my own dummy because I'm Billy No Makes today, but normally at a test you would have somebody else that will be placing or throwing the dummy for you. One of the tasks that you might get set as one of the retrieves at a novice working Gundog test might be what they call a memory. So this is, no surprises, where the dog is requested to remember where the dummy was put. It often also involves a little bit of lead work, so that's something that is a component often in these types of tests. So here you can see that we've got 2 posts out. What the judge would explain would be that we've got to take the dog's lead off, walk off lead to the first post, put the dog in a sit, leave the dog there whilst I walk a little bit closer to the other post and throw the dummy down. Your dog's got to remain in that sit until you go back to him, then come back to the original place, then send the dog on command for the dummy where he remembers where it is. So let's see how we get on. Simon, sit. Simon, sit. You. Back. Good lad. Good lad. Make sure I'm lined up where I'm going to send him. Back. Here the dog has been sent for a dummy that he hasn't seen thrown. So this is a blind. You could hear me giving the hunt whistle there, so the dog knew where to look for the dummy that he hasn't seen thrown. Good boy. So just going to show you what is known as a split. So as the name implies, this is where there are 2 dummies thrown and they're at different angles to each other. So that's why it's called a split. So the dog has to fetch both dummies and the judge will indicate which one he wants first. Both might be seen, or one might be a blind, the other one a seen. So what we set up here is we've got a blind over there, and then behind me we're going to have a scene thrown. So let's see how he does. Simon, you. Back. Back. Hunting usually takes place on any piece of open ground, so that could be a little bit of moorland if they've got access to something like that, or it might simply be a field. So this is a little stubble field that I've come out onto at the moment. You would expect to hunt something with more cover than we've got here, but this is just to give you the impression of what you might be asked to do. So you should be allowed a short amount of time for your dog to settle. And here you can see that Kevin's quite enthused. You're aiming to demonstrate to the judge that your dog is hunting the ground. So here I'm going to show you something a little bit like you would find in a novice working run dog test. So I've got a little body of water here, a nice easy into the water, out of the water, and the dummy's not going to get thrown very far. Back. Good lad. Here we've got a slightly more complex test. We're further away from the water. The dummy is already in the water, and now I'm going to send him back. Good lad. Here the dog has been sent for one retrieve, and without putting him back on the lead, he's going to be repositioned to go immediately for another retrieve. So this is another blind, but with an added complexity that he's got to go over a jump and then into water where the dummy is in the water, but he doesn't know it's there. So it commands a lot of obedience from the dog. At the end of the day, when all of your different competitors have done all of the different tests, then all of the scores will be added up by the people who are running the competition, and they normally then gather everybody round. There's a little bit of a sort of debrief in terms of the judges saying how they feel the day has gone, and then there'll be the prizes awarded. So first, second and third, maybe a fourth place depending on the club. There may be certificates of merit put forward as well, and then there'll be a board or something like that where you can look at your own particular scores if you haven't been lucky enough to be in the awards, and that'll be the end of your day, and you go home and learn from that experience and come back out again for the next one.